Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering The Secret of Shark Island, which guest stars Sonny and Cher, and it originally aired on October 28th, 1972, and it sees the gang along with Sonny and Cher solving a mystery at an old rundown beach resort involving a shark god, which is a walking shark, a shark that can walk on land, and his shark henchmen. For you who don't know, Sonny and Cher were a popular comedy and singing act in the late 60s and 70s who were married in real life. They divorced, I believe, in 1975, and they had a huge hit with the song I've Got You, Babe, and The Beat Goes On, as well as a popular variety show that aired around this time or before it. Sonny Bono, unfortunately, he passed away in 1998 during a skiing accident. And Cher, meanwhile, has won Oscars, or she's been nominated for Oscars at least, and she's had a huge career with her acting and singing as well. Lots of hits with her singing career. Other than that, I don't have much trivia, so enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get on with the review. The episode begins with the gang heading off on a surfing trip. Unfortunately, as they near the beach, a thunderstorm has put a damper on their plans. They do, however, spot Sonny and Cher broken down with a flat tire on the side of the road. Sonny and Cher have plans to visit Hideaway Hotel Beach Resort for their second honeymoon, so the gang offer to drive them there.
Hey, that's that famous couple, Sonny and Cher!
Gee, imagine meeting you both right in the same rain.
On the way in, the gang are spied upon by a mysterious figure in a raincoat who makes some demonic guttural noises into a walkie-talkie. The mystery machine is also nearly driven off the road from a rapid trash removal truck. Freddie and Sonny find this truck suspicious as he was driving like a road hog, and the fact that nobody would ever need to have their trash removed that fast. At the beach resort, the gang notice that its glory years are long gone. The championship golf course is a field of weeds, the porch is dilapidated, the tennis courts went into the ocean due to a rock slide, and vultures have made a nest on the roof. To make matters worse, the gang is stranded on the island resort for a couple of nights due to the tide flooding the bridge out. Inside, they meet the hotel manager, Milo Meekley, who is slightly deaf and blind. The confused Milo thinks the gang are Sonny and Cher's kids, and Scooby and Shaggy are twins.
Hi there, I'm the popular television personality, Sonny Bono.
Name's Milo Meekley. Nice looking family. The twins are the spitting image of you. Water sports, slight misprint there. No surfing or water skiing or glass-bottom paddle boats or scuba diving. You can't leave right now. Go see for yourself.
The road to the mainland is under 2 fathoms of ocean.
What's 2 fathoms in feet?
2 fathoms is 12 feet.
Now, why wouldn't Freddie just say 12 feet?
We're only marooned on this miserable island.
That's about all the fun I can stand.
They also meet Matilda, who is this handsome-looking and manly maid.
When you say hotel staff...
Matilda. Nice, quiet, hard worker, Matilda. She's over there in the shadows, sizing you folks up right now.
We learn that Sonny's agent recommended the hotel to him as the agent stayed there 15 years ago. Milo tells Sonny that the ownership of the place has changed hands at least 6 times in the intern. The good news is that the bridal suite is still available and has a nice view of the rocks in the ocean due to the porch falling off.
It's got a real nice view of the rocks below, especially now that the porch dropped off.
Milo also informs them about an ancient Native American curse of the fish of the devil, also known as Pescado Diabolico, or the evil god of sharks. The curse goes that one night when the sea winds moan, the shark god will walk upon the land, and all the sharks will follow, driving humankind back into the ocean. As if on cue, the gang hears a strange moaning, which Milo writes off as their youthful imagination.
The old legend spread by the local Indians about the Pescado Diabolico.
That translates into fish of the devil.
Yep, sea monsters, if you want to believe that junk. Pescado Diabolico, the evil god of sharks. The story goes that one night when the sea winds moan, old Shark-Face will walk upon the land, and all his man-eaters will leave the briny deep and follow him, driving all of us humans back into the sea. When the shark god calls the monsters of the deep, He summons them by blowing on a conch shell.
During the evening, Daphne sees something come out of the ocean during a lightning storm. Velma teases her as she thinks Daphne is just spooked out from the stories Milo told them earlier. But in the next flash of lightning, Velma sees it too.
I saw something out there, like something dragging itself out of the surf. Something slimy and horrible.
Pescado diabolico, the shark god.
There's the proof. I wasn't crazy last night. They're those prints, whatever they are.
The next morning, Freddy and Sonny find dozens of empty, valuable rum bottles belonging to the ancient Spanish king on the beach. Listening to the wind blowing across them, it sounds like the moaning they heard the night before.
Empty rum bottles, dozens of them.
The rum is gone.
Where's the rum gone?
These are very old bottles. That's the seal of an ancient Spanish king. Ancient bottles like these are valuable collector's items. Why would anyone want to leave them lying around on the beach?
Why is the rum gone?
Scooby and Shaggy find a paddle boat with a glass floor, so they take it out into the ocean, hoping to get back to mainland. In the ocean, they spot an old shipwrecked Spanish galleon, along with the shark god swimming out of it.
Look down there. A wreck. An old Spanish galleon, Scoob. And look at the size of that thing swimming out of it.
The shark god swims up, startling Shaggy, and he ends up crashing the paddle boat on the beach. There they meet up with the rest of the gang along with Sonny and Cher. On the beach they spot a kelp dredger, which they try and signal. However, the boat vanishes completely into thin air.
Hey, look, a boat.
Technically, it's not a boat. It's a kelp dredger.
Let's signal it.
Hey, it's gone.
No ship?
Nothing.
But that kelp trawler couldn't just vanish into thin air.
The gang try to hunt down Mr. Meekly but find him missing. Some slimy amphibian-like footprints circle his desk.
Mr. Meekly! Mr. Meekly!
Slimy footprints.
But these footprints stop where Mr. Meekly was.
Meekly couldn't leave this island.
Splitting up, Shaggy runs into the shark god in the hotel's wine cellar. A chase ensues, and Shaggy, Scooby, Sonny, and Cher all manage to escape his man-eating jaws. On the beach, Freddy, Daphne, and Velma have worse luck as a rickety set of wooden stairs they are on collapses into the sea. The three of them land dead center in the middle of a few circling shark fins, and Freddy soon figures out that these are fake fins on some sort of underwater device. Eventually, everyone converges in an underwater cave where they find a crane aboard the kelp dredger operating a bucket that is harvesting piles of gold from the sea. The gold is being loaded on an assembly line and it's being melted in a foundry. Freddy also discovers wet black paint on dozens of metal garbage cans and thinks it is some sort of clue. The shark god, along with a couple of other walking sharks, show up and more chasing around happens until Freddy makes his way up to the top of the crane. There he spots Mr. Meekly operating the crane. Using two metal trash can lids, Freddy smashes them together like cymbals, disrupting Mr. Meekly's senses.
My hands are covered with black paint. Maybe I can use these lids as shields.
You nosy brat! You'll be shark bait when I finish with you.
Let's everyone freeze. This is Matt Hildago, your friendly neighborhood investigative agent speaking. All of you shark men out of the water and back to the hotel on the double.
Matilda rushes in and it turns out to be an undercover officer named Matt Hildago. Matt Hildago arrests Mr. Meekly and his crew of walking sharks. Back at the hotel, Matt Hildago explains that all the sharks were professional scavengers and they were stealing gold from the sunken ship using the kelp dredger bucket. From there, they melted the gold down and forged them into garbage cans, which they smuggled out under the guise of the fast trash removal business. The shark costumes were perfect for hiding their scuba gear when they needed to dive down to the wreck. The shark god legend was also helpful in keeping away any legit customers who might get curious or suspicious.
Professional sea scavengers.
You mean they were only scuba divers?
The fin on the back concealed a scuba tube. This phony head hid the scuba mask.
But why were you in disguise?
A male agent would have made Captain Meekly suspicious. Ancient gold doubloons. Real ones from an old Spanish galleon. They discovered the wreck accidentally. We caught on to it when one of his shark men tried to spend a few doubloons in town. Meekly wanted it all, so he was melting the gold down into something he could smuggle off the island.
Trash can lids.
And now Captain Meekly and his trashy crew are headed for the can themselves.
With another mystery solved, the gang begin to leave, just as the entire hotel slides into the ocean for good. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed this episode a lot. It had a great amount of spookiness. The shark god design was super cool and it was scary. This episode came out a couple years before Jaws, which is surprising because, we all kind of think back to Jaws as, making us afraid to go swimming in the water. But this episode probably made a few kids afraid to go into the water and more aware of sharks. This episode definitely frightened me as a kid because I remember watching Jaws and I was a wee kid and I was like, my brothers are like, aren't you like terrified of the shark? I'm like, I don't live near an ocean and sharks can't walk. And then they showed me this episode and they're like, see, sharks can walk. And then I had nightmares that night. I was pretty frightened. So, part of my liking of this video is nostalgia. A few of the jokes in this are kind of dated, but most of this series from 1972 does have dated jokes. I mean, it's been 50 years after all. Things are going to get dated. But I enjoyed the corny banter between Sonny and Cher. They got like enough chemistry to keep me entertained. And I also like the reveal that the deaf and blind Mr. Meekley was a bitter and savage scavenger. He was kind of dangerous. Matilda being the undercover agent was a funny twist. It was clear from the start that she was a man. And by the way, Matt Hidalgo, the character who played Matilda, really threw his heart and soul into acting like a maid. So that was kind of funny. I also like the added touch of the kelp being on the shark god's fins. That really made the shark god stand out to me and be a little extra scary and a little less generic than a lot of the villains we get in this series so far. The hotel had some interesting set pieces with the treacherous cliffside views, hidden caves, that creepy wine cellar, and that kept things moving crisp and brisk and moving along at a quick pace. Out of all the new Scooby-Doo movies, I think this might be my favorite so far. Either this or the Don Knotts one. I like both. We'll see when I do my ranking. That will come out when I finish all my season 1 reviews. My only complaint is it is a bit too long. Had this been a 22-minute episode instead of 44 minutes, this would have been a masterpiece. Anyway, that wraps up my review. Thank you for any likes, subscribes, views, and all of that. Every week my channel grows and I enjoy seeing these views and likes, subscribes, and shares and everything. It just lets me know that people are still really into Scooby-Doo, and that's important to me. I always want to make sure, Scooby-Doo remains in the spotlight. Doesn't really need help from me, but it's just fun just connecting with fans of Scooby-Doo and whatnot. So anyway, until next week, stay spooky.
Jazz about the man-eating shark god, you're...
Saw something out there during the last light. What's that?
Offhand,
I saw something out there, like something dragging itself out of the surf. Something slimy and horrible.
That's about all the fun I can stand.